All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest. Let me give a couple of words about my guest. Baltimore, gospel, music, purpose. Put your hands together. All the way from Maryland, we have Mr. Wes Watkins.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How are you today?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm doing good. Yourself?
All right, man. I am great. Wrapping up this 2020, and man, we finishing on a positive note. And man, we here to talk about you, man. And let's just get right into it. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So look, you're basically mostly well known for being a musical director of Got My Own Sound. Now,
right.
I checked out some of your clips, man. I checked out how y'all jam, and y'all jam. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Man, tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us how you got started and all.
So like in my family, my father's side of the family, everybody's a musician. My dad plays drums, literally had drumsticks in my hand from the time I was born, and it's kind of one of them things, he never forced it on me, but just growing up, being around him, the bands he had back in the day, going to gigs with him and stuff like that, I just kind of started picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, came up in church, playing at church, stuff like that. At 7 years old, I had my first, big gig for Richard Smallwood, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, I just started growing and just, it went from church to playing in the club, playing in the go-go bands, and then playing in the clubs, and then I just grew from there and started meeting different artists and started working with a lot of different people, you know what I'm saying? Really just hitting the pavement hard, man, and putting in work to get my name known, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I kept it professional, and that's what got me here, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to play my game and make sure I'm doing everything right to get to where I am now. So, and that led me to work with a lot of different artists, everybody from, she's a Grammy nominated artist. Her name is Carolina from the DM area. I was with her. I had the chance to work with Travis Green and Corinne Hawthorne and Chrisette Michelle, Raheem Devon, and the Fabulous Thunderbirds and Big Daddy, and the list goes on.
Man, right. Okay.
Yeah, and then the go-go bands and stuff like that, from Listen, Subtle, Vibe, Northeast Groovers, Backyard, Serious Company, What Band, And like I said, man, it's just been moving forward ever since, you know what I'm saying? And just got me here. So
that's what's up. And for those of you who don't, know about Washington D.C. and the outlines of Washington D.C., go-go music is a very, very, very big thing. Just like Chicago has house music, and there's trap music in the South or whatever. Go-go music is a staple out east in DMV, as you all say.
Yeah.
All right. But we're going to talk about a little bit more, because that's what you're known for. But we're going to talk about why you're here. All right. So let's talk about this book. All right. This is actually your second book that you've written. We're going to talk about the first one in a second. But your second book is called Motivation plus Drive equals Purpose. Now, what inspired you to write this book, and what is this book about?
It was basically a pickup from the first book. So Motivation plus Drive Purpose is just, everybody's born with purpose. And a lot of times I feel like us as people, it takes us a time to find out what our purpose is. So when you find out what your purpose is, you have to have the motivation and the drive to get to your purpose. But you can't really find out what your purpose is if you don't have identity. You know what I'm saying? Because then you don't know what your purpose to do. So if I don't have identity, I don't even have vision, because if I don't know who I am, how can I see what I'm purposed to do? And how can I see to operate in my purpose? You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times I feel like a lot of people in conversations that I run into, some people get stuck in this place where, well, I just settle for this because I don't really have no purpose in my life, or what am I supposed to do? Or I'm not really supposed to be doing nothing. And the thing is, like, have you actually truly found yourself? Like, do you really know your true identity? So you're stuck right here because you don't honestly know who you are. Because if you did and you saw the vision for what your purpose and what you're supposed to do, you would think and act totally different. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to bring that to the light, and I'm always going to be transparent. So in the book, I'm always going to give examples of myself of when it was times and situations that happened when I didn't feel I had purpose, but it was only because at those specific times I didn't have identity. So like once I found out who I am, nobody could tell me anything, and there's no situation that could happen that could take away my purpose or make me think that I don't have a purpose or a reason. You know what I'm saying? So that was the purpose of this book, was just really just to open people's eyes and just know, like, man, you got purpose. You just first need to find your identity. You know what I'm saying?
Well, man, I love it. Especially you're talking about identity, and that's the main thing you have to have in order to get the motivation and the drive in order to get to the purpose. So like in this day and age, man, especially in this social climate, why is your book essential to like what's going on?
Man, because right now with the shutdown, I think I've seen so much on my social media with people. I've seen so much of the, and you know, to whoever's watching this, don't take it the wrong way, but I see so much of the woe is me and this has happened and oh my God, what am I going to do? And so my mindset is literally conditioned to, okay, this has happened, but it's part of the process, but it doesn't change my purpose. So even though, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even though all hell is breaking loose, you still have purpose within the hell.
That's true.
But the thing is, are you really going to have the motivation and drive to say, okay, I got to push through to still operate at the purpose? Mm-hmm. And that's why even during this COVID time, I wanted to drive it, because I'm just like, yo, in the midst of everything that's going on, you still got a job to do. You still got purpose. You still gotta do what you were purposed to do, regardless of what happens. I know it hurts, you know, and it's not to have somebody leading while you're bleeding, but in the same time, you deal with your stuff, but you still have this job right here that you were sent here to do. We were all sent here to do a certain job, you know. So I just take that position of, no matter what, I gotta push. I gotta operate on my purpose, because at the end of the day, there's somebody out there who is waiting to get to their purpose, and they're waiting on you. So if I don't do my part, you might get to where you're supposed to get to because I didn't do my part. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it's very important to me when it comes to people, because I've just had a lot of different people in my life that they did their part, and that's what helped me get to where I am right now. You know what I'm saying? So I can have that same mindset and make sure I push the next person so that they're able to do their part and get to where they need to get to.
Okay. All right, man. You know what? I love it, man. And, you know, I just really like the fact that you're making everyone accountable. And especially in this day and age, and we talking about millennials, and you know how they are, and you're talking about people up and down your timeline. What can this book actually do for them? Like, how can they find their purpose from reading this book?
I think for them, it's an eye opener. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm always going to be transparent with the next person, with anybody I come in contact to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being transparent with you so that you can be transparent with yourself and check yourself and really ask yourself questions. Like I do in the book, I have notes in there where you can write in it, because I want you to write. You have to write down where you think you fit, or what am I missing, or what am I not doing, or what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, write it down, see it. Sometimes we miss our purpose because we're not even thinking, we're not even writing it down, we're not thinking about the vision, the plan, none of it. We're just going on with life. But sometimes when you write it down and you sit there and you look at it, then it's like, oh man, like, yo, I need to act on this. You know what I'm saying? Or I need to do something. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, the whole thing is just like, man, it's just an eye opener. You know, it's reading this book, in my opinion, is what are you coming to when you read the book? So if you're coming with the mentality that I'm looking for my purpose, then you're going to really read it and open up your eyes and say, okay, shoot, I see what he did. I see why he why he acted this way and what made him really go to try to define himself and find his identity. If you come with that mindset, then you're going to try to do the same for yourself.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Okay. All right. Yeah. So look, let's talk a little bit about your first book, because your first book is called The Life That Created My Sound. Now, we're going to get into this a little bit later, dealing with mental health, but like, tell us a little bit more about your first book and how that inspired your latest book, and it's pretty much what we are now.
Yeah, so the first book was just like just me being transparent about myself. I feel like a lot of people that weren't really like that close to me, they see you on tour, they see you on the social media, so everybody thinks, oh, you're fine, you're good, you're traveling, everything's hunky-dory, he has not a care in the world. And I used to get that, like, some of my home would be like, man, like, dog, you living a life, like, man, you doing this, you doing this. Like, fool, you don't know what the hell I got going on. Like, yeah, I've been, you know what I'm saying? And so I went through my depression phase. I went through my suicide. I went through abusing alcohol 24/7, literally 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And even to when I was fighting for my son in court at the time, and I went through all of these things, and then I walked away from music for a short period of time, and then I found my identity, because I talk about identity in the book also. So once I found my identity and everything, it brought me to where I am today, where I was 2 years ago when I wrote the book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, however long ago when I wrote the book. But that was that. And so I basically wrote that book because I wanted people just to know me. And I got tired of people always just thinking that it's like, oh, you're picture, not so much picture perfect, but you're okay, you're fine, you're good, you're just coasting. And it's like, nah, man, I deal with things on a regular. I've dealt with things that I've gotten through. This is how I got through it. Because a lot of people didn't know I was going through it, because it wasn't so much a cry for help. I just was going through it and dealing with it the way that I thought I should have dealt with it, and I wasn't. But because I went through the process, I learned from it, and I'm able to help other people. You feel what I mean? Right. And so that first book, I really just wanted it to be, again, another tool that's able to help somebody who goes through these things on a daily basis. I have musicians, friends that go through these different kind of issues, and it's like, dude, like, yo, you're not alone. I'm here, you know what I'm saying? Talk, or I can point you in the right direction, you know what I'm saying? Like, just getting these issues off and dealing with them, because when you don't deal with the issues, they deal with you, and it puts you in that deep, dark place that you don't want to get to.
Well, in the South, there's a saying called, you better take care of the problem before the problem take care of you.
Take care of you, yeah. That's a fact.
I heed those words a lot. So, man, no, I basically thank you for your open and honesty about that. Now, sort of keeping on that same page, now you're very passionate, man, when it comes to mental health within the Black community, especially men. And you talk a little bit more about this, man. Why? Like, I mean, man, there's so many reasons why it's important, but I want to hear from Wes Watkins and his views of why, man, mental health within the Black community is very important.
Man, I think it's important because a lot of us as Black men, we grow up, and not even in the household. And I can speak for mine. Like, my household, man, my parents, they together. They wanted me and my brother come talk to us, tell them you got something going on. But when you out chilling with your boys around the way, you gotta be tough. You got something going on, man. You man up. You don't cry. You don't do this. You don't do that. So when issues come about, because my peers that I've been around have shaped my mentality to be like, oh, I tuck that, or I don't deal with it, I don't cry, I push that to the side, and I be a man and I keep pushing. Then you have all of these things, you get to that one point where you break or you snap, and you don't even know where it's coming from. And so now, because you haven't dealt with those issues, you're doing things to make yourself forget about them. So for me, it was drinking, so now I'm just drinking. And then the drinking, because I get tired of dealing with it. Now I want to take myself out. So now I got a gun in my head. Now I done took pills. Now I done did that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, had you just dealt with it in the beginning, this might not have even happened. Had you not been afraid to deal with the issues, you might not have went down this road. And so that's why I feel it's very important for us, especially as Black men in the community, because it's like, man, a lot of times it's like, dude, you could literally deal with your issues and your problems and be free from them and be good to operate. But because you hide it, or because you think you have to be, you think it's you're not man enough, or you think you a chump if you go talk to somebody, or you think it makes you soft or a punk or whatever like that, you keep it in, and now you stressing yourself out, and now you're doing other things to escape from what you have in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, to not even get to that place, it's like, man, let's just deal with it head on. Like, you know, now I understand that, hey, there are going to be situations that happen in my life that I can't control. And I'm not saying that I have a perfect day every single day, you know what I'm saying? But because I decided to deal with my issues, when I face problems that come up now, I'm honestly able to just be at peace with it, whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence. I'm able to be at peace with it. And I feel like a lot of Black men, and men in general, but especially Black men in our community, man, we just took the time to just talk about it to whoever, you know what I'm saying, and deal with your issues. Dude, it would be less of a stress on your mental health. You would really see a different change. And it's like, oh man, I don't even deal with, like, for me, like, I used to abuse alcohol 24/7. Like, I would literally drink from 5-6 a.m. to 12 a.m. I was spending $400 or $500 a week at the liquor store, right? Now, the problem is that why was I drinking? Because I didn't deal with my issues. So I want to drink to forget about my issues. But, you know, once you sober up, the issue's still there. So what do? You drink more, right? So I go through all this time drinking down in the dumps. Woe is me. Oh, nobody wanted to help me. And then when people were asking me, hey, what's going on? I'm sitting there telling you, oh, nothing, I'm cool. So then when they don't keep asking, now I'm painting pictures in my head that, oh, don't nobody mess with me, they don't fool me. Well, I asked you what was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's literally, I started tracing all of these things back. And so once I started dealing with my issues, it's like, well, I don't need the crutch to drink every single hour anymore. Because I was only doing that to suppress what I had going on. True. But now, because I dealt with it, why do I still need to drink every day? You get what I'm saying? Every hour, every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
So Wes, I mean, to me, like, you know, with anything, you have to come to that aha moment. Like, you have to have your, like, bottom moment, as they say sometimes. What was your bottom moment? What was the moment for you when you were like, you know what? This ain't it. Nah, man. Like, I gotta change.
Mine was the last time I tried to take myself out. So I took all these pills. I chased it with a pint of Jack. Wow. And the amount that I took, even right now, shouldn't be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I never forget, I had to go get my son from school that day. He was about 5, 6 maybe. And you know, after I took everything, I thought I was done. Like, I literally just remember coming to, and like my whole face just like looked like that. I can't even explain. It's like, it's crazy, Joe, because I was out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I never scheduled anybody to pick them up. So like when I came to where I was, I ain't know nothing. I ain't know the day, the month, the year, nothing. And I remember I was on the floor and I had like 13 missed calls and like all these text messages. And I got the phone and I'm still out, and I hit the voice, the voice messages. Yeah. And my son he's like, Daddy, like, where are you? Nobody's here to get me. And I'm like, shoot. I'm like, okay, I never scheduled anybody to get him. So anyways, it took me a minute, got myself together. I make my way to the school. I walk in the office and he runs and gives like the biggest hug ever. Like, Like he hadn't seen me for like years.
Right.
And I broke down right in the office by the principal and all them. And like that was my moment when I was like, you selfish bum. Like that's how I had to talk to my, you know what I'm saying? No. It's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And so from that moment on, I was like, yo, you got to deal with your stuff now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what got me in a space where I was able to deal with it. And so once I dealt with it and I got comfortable with all of my issues, that's where I was able to write the book and be comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what's up. I mean, no, brother, that's real perspective, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have that in order to get through to the next level. And I mean, man, I'm just glad you're here to tell your story, man, you know, because, you know, as you say, man, it could have went another way. And we really wouldn't be here right now having this conversation. So, man, you know, I thank you for being transparent with that, man, and being open about that.
Yeah.
So, man, like, I know, you know, we're not therapists or anything of that nature, man, but we are men and we do deal with, you know, the ills of the world and everything that's going on. But in your opinion, you know, for those who are not going to go see a therapist, because there are people who are not going to go see a therapist, how, you know, what is your recommendation for them trying to work through their depression? And, you know, like, how can they try to overcome it? I'm not going to say overcome it because, as I said, we're not therapists, but how can you work through that so you can be okay?
Yeah, I think the thing is so number one is writing out what's going on. Again, for me, I'm a visual person. So let me write and trace the problem of why am I going through this? Like, let's get down to the root of it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it's like sometimes we'll sit in a depression because we're afraid to go back and deal with what got us there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe scared of it. So, hey, you got to build up that confidence to say, okay, I have to deal with this. And then once you trace it and you find out what it is, okay, deal with it. It could be, you could be in a depression because you may have been in an abusive relationship, or I don't know, whatever it is. So, okay, then it gets to a thing of, can I forgive the person that did this to me? Not for them, but for me to get me out of a space that I'm in. But like I said, it could be anything. And I'm not, and if you're watching this, I'm not trying to say if you've been abused to, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, you know, sometimes that forgiveness piece, depending on if that's the situation of a forgiving situation, like not even forgiving somebody for them, but just for you to have your peace so you could deal with the issue and get out of the place that you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like when I went through depression, like I had a situation that happened with somebody else, and for the longest I couldn't forgive him. Like, I held on to that thing, and he was moving on with life, but that was just one of the things that was just holding me down. And I'm still like, man, F that fool and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, you holding on to something, and it's keeping you mad, it's keeping you angry, it's keeping you depressed, it's keeping you this. And once I forgave him, it was like a huge weight off my shoulder. And I'm like, I don't even feel that no more. You know what I'm saying? So again, like my thing would be that, you know, go back, deal with the issue. And then I didn't have a lot of confidence about myself. I was negative. I used to always just speak. I heard negative words about me, so I became the negative words that I heard about myself. Those negative words became my identity. So really check and see what words have been spoken over you and go back and undo them. And the way you undo them is for every negative word you've heard over you or that's been spoke over you, man, go write 2 positive ones to go with that one. And when you write those positive words down, you make sure every single day you wake up in the morning and you speak those positive words over you. Yes. Because see, the thing is, we have to train our own selves that when nobody else is speaking positive around you or nobody else is giving you the compliments or what you want to hear, where you going to get it from? You got to be strong enough to give it to yourself. And I think that's why I'm so I have so much confidence now, and I'm so transparent. I don't mind talking about it. I don't care what somebody else says about me. I don't care how you feel, because every single day I wake up, I speak well over myself.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
So so I'm never going to be at a place where anybody could say anything negative about me, and I fall back into the place of, oh, that's me. Nah, you can say whatever the hell you want to say about me. I could care less. Right. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to take, I'm brilliant, I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm a great father. You know what I'm saying? It's just speaking those things over yourself regardless. So, you know, it's really just like this self-care, self-love thing. Like, you got to for real love yourself. You got to for real take care of yourself before you even expect it from somebody else. So if you're doing it yourself, if you don't get it from nowhere else, it's not going to, for me, it's not going to really make a difference in how I think about where I'm at, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand. Yes, I totally, man. I mean, everything you're saying are facts, man. And as I said before, I thank you for being transparent, man, because you're really coming from a place that, man, you know, for the most part, you know, especially being, you know, a black male, man, either A, you know, we have too much pride to, you know, come from that place. B, you know, we feel as if no one's going to listen to us or they're going to judge us. Right. Or C, you know, we feel as if, man, you know, there's just not any room in a society for me at all, you know. So
right.
I'm cool, you know. I'm just
I'm
gonna hold everything.
I'm just back. Yep, absolutely right.
That's not cool at all.
Nope.
Man, so like, if people want to get in contact with you, man, how can people get in contact with you to, like, you know, man, talk, or, hey, Wes, man, you know, I seen this, man, I seen your book, you know, or I seen your interview or whatever, man, I love your words, I'm going through this, or what have you, like, so how can people get in contact with you if they need to get in contact with you?
Man, yeah, you can definitely hit me up on my social media. I definitely respond to it. At my Instagram is Wes, WES_ got my own sound. On Facebook at Wes Watkins. The crazy thing is, like, when I wrote the first book, I wasn't expecting it, but I got so many messages, and there was some people that I gave my number to. It kind of tripped me out, because I remember my book dropped last year February, so I think last March or April, I got a call from this young kid, and this is like 5 a.m. my phone is going off on my Instagram. Who the heck is sending me these freaking notifications this early? I'm like, yo, what the heck? So I finally go on my inbox, and, you know, he's just like, hey, I read your book. And he was like, man, you know, I've been contemplating suicide right now. He was like, I hope you hit me. He was like, I'm holding a gun to my head. So he sent me his number. So I like called off the rip, and I was on the phone with this dude for like 2.5 hours. Wow. And so, you know, I was able to talk him into going to go see a therapist and going into a group joint. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, it was like, oh, like the joint, it tripped me out because I had never been in a situation like that. But I say all that to say, like, yeah, you know, if you hit me, man, I'm always up for conversation and to respond, especially when it's on matters like this, especially outside of music. I definitely love to respond. You know, if I don't have the answers, I can point you in the right direction, or, you know, do what I can to help if possible. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I mean, and I like the fact that, you know, you reached out to that young man, and, you know, man, that was a matter of life and death, literally, man. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't really matter how long you are on the phone with a person. It's really about the change that you're trying to make within the person that you're on the phone with. Yep. So, yeah. Once again, hats off to you, brother, man, and your, you know, amazing stories, you know. What's next for you, man? Like, you know, like, I know we've been sitting up here talking about mental health and all this, but what's next for Wes Watkins?
Oh man, I have a few different things in the works right now. My band, we're getting ready to release the 4th album in March, so I'm excited. It was supposed to drop the day before Thanksgiving, but I pushed it back a little bit. So it's going to drop March 19th, the first day of spring. And it's feel good music, man. You know, just trying to bring music to people in these times that just really just make you feel good. Music you can cook to, skate to, drink to, cook out to, you know, smoke a cigar to, whatever you do is like that whole feel, that whole vibe. Yeah. So doing that, man, I've been partnering with some different companies. I have like literally 5 different businesses I'm launching from January to June of next year. Wow. You know, multiple streams. And I've been working hard, and I'm on my hustle grind. So I can't talk about a few of them right now, but I literally just have in the works where it's just like I'm just trying to make sure that my fam and my team and my kids is good, you know. So that's really it, man. Music, working these businesses, starting a nonprofit, you know. I'm excited about that, man. Being able to give groceries and help people in need, whether it be clothing, shoes, and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, off the board, that's really it, dude. Just trying to do my part, and then me and my son gonna be writing I'm gonna be writing a 3rd book with my son. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be.
Let me just say this, man. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about 2020 being this bad year, being this, being that, being this. You just named a whole bunch of stuff that's positive. So I just have to ask the question: how has 2020 helped you?
So I'm gonna tell you, man, it's helped me. Like when the shutdown happened, you know, at first it wasn't so much that I went into a panic, because I was actually talking about this earlier with my uncle. Did a radio show right before your joint with my uncle on my uncle's show, right? And we were talking about he asked me the same question. And so growing up, like my family, we weren't poor, but I watched my family struggle. You know what I'm saying? My mother and my father, they did everything to do for me and my brother. But because we didn't grow up with everything, getting into a position like this when stuff shut down, it puts me right back in my natural habitat. So for me, it puts me back in hustle mode. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got out, I hustled, I did what I know how to do. You know what I'm saying? And I found the positive in the negative and focused on that. Now, has it just been a peachy year? Nah, man. In this last week, I had 3 deaths of people I know. Week before last, I had 4. Since July, I've known over 12 people that's passed away personally that I know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the thing is just, what do you focus on? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had to choose to focus on the positive and keep moving. I dealt with it. You know, I dealt with the hurt. I had my times. I cried. You know, I prayed. I did this. But at the end of the day, it's like, honestly, what else can I do? I could sit here and wallow and, you know, woe is me. Why is this happening? I could sit there and cry and all that, but it's still going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like accepting, like, yo, this is part of the process. You know, not saying that I feel 100% like all peaches and cream, like good, but just, but it's like just knowing, like I said before, just knowing that things are going to happen that's out of my control is part of the process. So again, it's like, okay, this happened, I dealt with it, but I still got a purpose and I still got things to do. So I still got to get back on and keep moving. And, you know, I just inked like 2 major deals in my career in the last 3.5 weeks. That's been major for me. So, it's like staying focused. Thank you. It's like just staying focused, staying prayed up, and still having faith that no matter what happens, I'm still walking the path of what's laid out in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I moved through 2020, and that's how I got through the joint. You know, so for me, it's like, I'm not saying it's the best year, but, you know, business-wise for me, yeah, it has been the best year, you know? And then on top of that, like, I've been going nonstop for years. Anybody that knows me, like, this was the first, when March 15th hit, when the shutdown happened, that first weekend was the first time I had a weekend off in almost 10 years.
Wow.
I've literally been working nonstop, whether it's me working my 9 to 5 and still playing, and because from 2016 to March of 2019, I was on tour for 3 years, back and forth. I come into town for a few days and then I leave. Right. I had gone. before that, I was working a 9 to 5 and still playing full time and still had my son. I was going.
Right. Well, man,
You know what I'm saying?
hey, but you know, I mean, taking that time to be still and, you know, having all these things processed gives you more of an identity, which is going to take you through. And like you say, man, it all goes back to the beginning, the identity.
Yep.
Once you identify who you are, man, everything else falls into purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So on this note, we've come to our last question, the question that my show is known for, so I have to ask. Mr. Wes Watkins, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
I'm gonna say transparent. Like I'm not afraid to. I'm so comfortable with myself and my identity. Like I'm not afraid to tell you what it is. And I think that's why I've gotten as far as I've gotten, because I'm open. I've called myself out on my BS, you know, publicly in a book, you know what I'm saying, and addressing all my imperfections and stuff like that. So I would go with transparent, man. And I'm glad that I'm able to be comfortable to be transparent, because it just gives me more confidence in being myself, just because I don't have to live by people's opinions of me anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was very major for me, because at one point in time, I literally just lived my life on other people's opinions and making sure that I didn't mess something up or do this the wrong way, because I need to make sure everybody thought this way about me. And once you stop caring and you live in your own identity, it just makes me more comfortable and more confident in myself, you know?
So, man, I'm going to use the word we keep saying, identity. That's the one word that I would use to describe you, but I'm going to use two words, and they both start with G. Genuine growth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
I'm going to use those because I think, man, like, for real, you know, for you to be transparent, you have to be genuine. And for you to, like, go from one, you know, end to the other, and, you know, you have found this new perspective, of course, that comes with growth. So, man, genuine growth. There you are. All right.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, I appreciate
No problem. No problem at all, man. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. No one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can find me on social media at Word with Ty Brownlow on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at Ty Brownlow TV, or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this interview plus other great interviews. Mr. Wes Watkins, once again, I thank you for coming on the platform, man, and sharing your story with us. It's been all good.
Oh, my man, appreciate it, man. No problem at all.
All right, man. Everybody, we out. Peace.
All right, man. All right, dude.